Let me see here what we got. How about forgiveness and guilt?
Forgiveness and guilt.
That's a tough one. Forgiving, I think, is one of the hardest things to do.
Mm-hmm.
1 John, verse 9. God forgives and purifies us. Isaiah 1 through 18. Sins made white as snow. While you're looking for that, I got a story for you. I didn't live where I live now. I actually lived in a duplex where we shared a long driveway. And within that duplex, you had an apartment complexes. Well, if you know what a duplex is, it's one building that you share divided in half, walls for two families. So you had two. We lived there for about, at this time, it was 4 years and a half. And at this time, we were also looking for a house, my wife and I. And there was a neighbor in the front. I've never said anything disrespectful. Didn't even know the guy. And I've met him on a few different occasions, kind of weird ones, and I'm just gonna rush through them. First one was a hi and bye, somewhat respectful. Second one was asking me questions as far as if the company I'm working for is hiring. I responded, and he took it in offense in a gang mentality, which caught me off guard. And I kind of smiled about it. I'd be lying if I say my pride wasn't attacked, but I kept it moving.
Mm-hmm.
But it had me thinking, like, did I do something? What was he tripping on? Third time, I'm coming home, and I see the individual outside upset. He's looking in the direction of my neighbors, which is driving, again, because I lived in the back of the duplex towards the front, and I parked at the main street. So I'm walking to the back, and my neighbor's coming out, and I'm talking to him while he's driving up, ready to leave out, and his mom's on the passenger side. So I approach from the passenger side, and I say, what's going on with this guy? What's he mad about? You know, and he's like, oh, he's mad because there's some kids kicking his garage. So he chased them down in a car. And I'm thinking, that's kind of wacko to do, right? Like, what are you going to go do? Hurt some little kids, right? So I stand up and I say, hey, what's going on, man? And he replied, I'm not talking to you. You know, mind your, you know what, business. And I was, okay, the pride's getting a little bit tugged. I'm like, just ignore him. So I conversate with the gentleman for a little bit, and I go inside. 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, I hear footsteps on my roof. And I don't know why, but right away I woke up and I knew. It's like I knew it was him.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm getting up out of bed. First thing I do is I'm running to my kids' room because they're next to us to see, like, if somebody in my house. I'm waking up, shaking up, and I hear something like on top. They're asleep, so my mind triggers already back to my old ways. Like, okay. And my wife, she can see on my face, like, it's just all bad, because my intentions were not good. She grabbed me, said some things, and I was like, I'm not trying to hear that. As soon as I open the front door, I hear around the corner movement. As soon as I stick my head out, I see lights. It's cops. Close the door, and they come knocking on my door. Hey, we got a call, about a disturbance. I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. In my mind, I'm thinking foolishly, like, nah, I'm gonna talk to this dude tomorrow.
Like, I'll handle it myself.
Yeah, like, again, stupid, foolishly, right? Long story short, I didn't see him for the next few days, but I was so mad, and I was within my thought of, like, when I see him, like, I'm gonna do something because I know, or I'm gonna say something. And even if he says something, like, I just can't hold myself back. That's how I'm thinking foolishly. But at the same time, I'm like, that's not right. Again, I'm still reading, and I was praying for those 2 to 3 days. Lord, I can't promise that I'm going to hold my tongue and I'm not going to say or do something that I don't want to do. But it's like I'm pleading with him. But God, you got to understand, like, you got to just let me this time. You know what I mean? And it's funny, but it's not. But it's like, because I was just so filled with anger. And during that time, I was like, Lord, I just pray that I just don't see this individual, because I can't promise that I'm not going to do anything, right? And yeah, for them 3 to 4 months, I never saw him. It's not like I was purposely trying to stay inside. Like, even when I would be outside with the kids right now, or on the driveway, because they were always there going to the park, I never saw him. Mind you, this guy was always outside. But when that happened, he never came outside. I thought at that time, maybe they moved or something. I don't know, maybe he did. And yeah, I mean, even then, after that incident happened, it was still in the back of my mind. Like, if I ever see him, I would pray that I would approach him in a respectful way, how God would want me to. But again, it's biting my tongue. Like, it's easier said, but it's different when it's in there.
Yeah, you still have the unforgiveness in your heart.
So, uh, I'm reading devotionals. I'm still, doing fellowship, attending those Wednesday churches at this time, and I felt like my faith was like I feel like loud, like I'm on fire right now. How I was when I first came. I feel like I'm in idle mode, and this is where I would say be careful, okay? Because I prayed and I asked God, I want you to use me, but I want you to get me like back going again on fire. You like push my faith, right? Like help
Test
me
me?
grow more within you, which is crazy because I prayed this the night before. This day I woke up. I think it was one of the last work days, probably a Wednesday, and it was the last job I had this day. I got this job. So if you don't know, I go for work, house to house, right? So I got this job. It was my last job. Chick opens the door, and I see so many people, so a lot of faces, they look familiar to me. I see her. I introduce myself. I'm like, hey, I'm here to do the service, whatever. And then she's like, cool. Did my thing outside. Needed to go back in the house to go into like this media panel in the closet. So as I'm working in there, I hear her say a kid's name, which I know that name because I've never heard it until my daughter told me the name. They were really good friends, his daughter and my daughter, because they went to the same school when we lived at that duplex. So I'm like, in my head, I heard that name, and then that's when it clicked in my head. I'm like, no. I'm like, God, you really did it, huh? Like, I was like, there's no way. So then I'm looking around. I'm thinking like, maybe they're not together or something because I didn't see him. So as I'm in the closet, now I'm really paying attention. I see guys' clothes. I'm like, nah. And again, it was started to build up. Like, okay, now this is that opportunity. But as I'm thinking foolishly, in the back of my head, and it came across me. All I kept hearing or thinking was forgive. And I'm like, nah, I'm not trying to do that. Like, this is what I've been looking and waiting for.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And again, that was just for me, as because my pride was attacked and I never got to confront to help feel that pride, right? Which sounds foolishly, but so I know where I'm at now. I'm outside and I'm working, and I'll never forget. I'm working on the side. I hear a car pull up, and it's like I know, it's like I know without knowing. Car pulls up, guy's walking, and all I hear is, "Man, it's hot today, huh?" And I just like catch my breath, and I look, and I'm saying, "Yeah, it's pretty hot." And it's like if he saw the ghost. It went from smiling face to like, oh, to where he put his ice chest down, is like asking me questions. Hey, you used to live over here, huh? And I'm like, yeah, and not to glorify more of the conversation, but it got to a point where he knew and I knew who each other were. So he went inside. At this time, it was starting to build again, that anger, that pride, where in my mind, the thoughts of the enemy coming in, he's like, okay, you have your opportunity now. How are you going to approach him? Or the other part is telling me, forgive. So now I have to go into the house. I go inside the house. I can see it's kind of, I'm reading the room. So him and his wife are kind of on the kitchen table. She looks somewhat nervous. He looks like surprised as much as I am. And God definitely used me that day to help within my faith to get me back in motion. Because if it wasn't for him, I definitely would have approached him in a worldly way. And it would have not got good. I would have lost everything that I worked for. And for what? I didn't forgive him. I didn't say I forgive you. But I told him, have a good day, in a way where I wasn't aggressive or angry. And his face when he looked at me was confused, but also it was like almost a learning experience for both of us. Maybe I failed the test as far as not verbally saying I forgave him, but I didn't act foolishly what I wanted to do. But yeah, that was something that when you pray for something like that, for an experience to happen, and it's like something to the extreme like that,
That was a hard test.
that was a really hard test. But it was something I needed to go through to grow for sure. But I think when we walk with God, we're in certain steps, we're in certain stages. When you're coming to Christ for the first time, you're what I call crawling within your faith, right? And just like an infant's born, they're crawling, you know, they're getting fed formula, breast milk, you know, little by little. Then they start to eat and break down, you know, softer foods like rice or beans, and then to go into your bigger portions. It's the same way we're going to have to dissect the word to understand, for it to give us conviction, for us to give us encouragement, for us to understand that, hey, we're not alone, that God's with us. And that testimony itself should be an example of, hey, God does move, and we may not see it or know when it's going to happen, but it will if you ask him to come. So that was wild. I know that took off into what you were going to say. It was a long conversation.
I was going to say that. You can read it.
No, go for it.
Okay, I have written down here. Unforgiveness carries a high price tag. This must be paid in full by all who hold on to resentment. Sleepless nights, joyless days, inner turmoil, broken relationships, feeling misunderstood and alone. These are the persistent companions of men and women who have not forgiven past hurts and offensive. Ironically, our unforgiveness has little or no impact to the perpetrator. Nelson Mandela said, bitterness is like drinking poison and hoping my enemy will die. If you hold on to unforgiveness, you are the one required to pay the toll. And that's true.
Yeah, no, for sure.
I feel like walking with Christ too has taught me to like forgive and like to let go of resentment. Because there was a lot of people that I've had resentment towards in my life from what they've said to me, they've done to me. And like walking with Christ, I learned to forgive. And I feel like if I seen them now, I just wish them the best. I wouldn't be how I was before.
Right.
Like, you know what, I don't talk to you, or like rude. I'm not like that. Like,
and that all
I just have peace in my heart now with Jesus.
For sure. I mean, that all comes with growth, comes with time, for sure.
Yeah, it wasn't overnight.
But one thing I think we have to understand is we can forgive the individual, but that doesn't mean we forget.
Yes.
Right? And that's also from when the person that has caused us harm, they have to understand that as well. Because the forgetting part, I mean, I think there may become a time to where we can to move forward, but it's not going to be able to do it alone. Definitely, that's something that I think we just have to be filled with the love and the spirit of God to be like, don't even worry about that anymore. Like, I'm not even tripping on that no more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?